Thank you so much, Aaron. Aaron Krasicki. Yes, isn't that beautiful? It's called Summer Samba. Yes, in honor of our season. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it's a little different in that it may appear to be a concert, but I feel all of you with me, and we're so honored to be here with you. Welcome from our home, our community at home. And when you put a Steinway in front of me, I behave a little differently. I just must admit that. But I'm also honored to be here with Jackie Pickett on acoustic bass, contrabass. We go way back, and Aaron Kruzicki on woodwinds. And so, yes, now's your time to chime in with us, right? All right, so you feel like singing? I do. Good afternoon. All together, sing a song. I see my singers. All together, everyone belongs. All together, a family. We are all together. You ready? Here we go. All together, sing a song. All together, everyone belongs. All together, a family. We are all together. One more time around, yeah. All together, sing a song. All together, everyone belongs. All together, a family. Yeah, we are all together. Amen. Yeah. Yes. Good job, my friends. This is the music of Gary Lynn Floyd. to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. God is the boat, and God is the boatman. It's by God's grace we're gonna cross this earthly ocean. We learn our lessons from the sun. It shines equally on everyone. When the sun don't shine, we learn it from the rain. It falls equally on everyone the same. To be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate.
So smooth.
To be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. God is the boat, and God is the boatman. It's by God's grace we're gonna cross this earthly ocean. We learn our lessons from the sun. It shines equally on everyone. When the sun don't shine, we learn it from the rain. It falls equally on everyone the same. To be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. Good job, everybody. I heard you sing it. And it's a great message. So great. As we open our hearts for prayer, we're going to sing into this beautiful song, another great song by Gary Lynn. Open your mind, unfold your heart, relax your senses, feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love's growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Love without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love's growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
As we come to our time of affirmative prayer, let's know this together. In all hearts now, there is everything. There are hearts that are broken today. There is certainly grief and sadness. There is joy and love and connection. All those things can be in the same moment, in the same hour, in the same day. Our wide range of human emotions and human experience, it can be all over the map. It can be deep, it can be high, it can feel shallow, it can feel wide, it can feel like drowning at moments, it can feel like floating at others, it can feel like waterfalls going upstream. But it's all God. It's all God. And what we know in this moment of prayer is you are never abandoned by God. There is one infinite intelligence, and you are it. You can't be out of the safety net because you're eternally connected to it. All beings are. All beings. The four-leggeds, the humans, the spirits, they are all connected to God. We are one with it. We are eternal souls, forever unfolding. And so there's a message today. God is trying to say something through you. Are you asking a question? Are you taking a decision? Are you waiting for an answer? God has it. Your soul, your connection to this God, infinite intelligence, has the answer for you right now. Listen. There's your answer. Feel it. Be it. There's your answer. You are God. You are meant for great purpose. You came with a reason. You are here on divine appointment. And whatever you are feeling, it's right. Be there. Be there and know you can also spiral up from it. Your God connection will not leave you. Your God connection cannot leave you. I'm so grateful for it. I'm grateful to know it. I'm grateful to be it. I'm grateful that you are it. We need you. We need your expression. We need your creativity. We need your joy. We need your grief. We need all of your experience. You're meant to be here. You are loved. You are God. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for this knowingness, for this highest truth of each and every being. So we can release it to the law, unbound, knowing our truth. So it is.
You can't stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your story, tell it to me. Don't leave out a word. 'Cause I think I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your garden, let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Amen. Unbound. Yeah. So it is. Thank you, Reverend Karen. Karen Raps, thank you so much.
A gracious and glorious afternoon to you. Let's do that strong. A gracious, good, glorious, good afternoon to you. Thank you. My name is Susan Zoller. My pronouns are she and her. I gladly serve and lovingly serve as one of the ministers of Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. And I want to welcome you here today. This is a wonderful day. The sky is blue again. We can breathe better again. There's so much to celebrate, especially having a place like this to come and experience a greater idea. So welcome to everyone who's here in person and every person who may be watching online now or even later at their convenience. So glad you're here. And let's start today with our affirmation that I wrote. And I think it's really on point with our topic today of speaking truth. I'll say it first, and then I invite you to say it with me a second time. Here we go. I know who I am. I have the strength and the power to speak truth in every situation. This power comes to me from the infinite. It is the I'm ad-libbing, you realize. This power is the foundation of my life. No one and nothing can separate this power from me, for it comes from Spirit. I make new and better decisions, and every moment is the opportunity to express more and greater. Speaking truth is one of my superpowers.
Love that.
Okay.
All right.
Now, say it like you love it with me. Let's go together. We'll use the right words, actually. I know who I am. I have the strength and power to speak truth in every situation. This power is the foundation of my life. No one and nothing can separate me from this power, for it comes from Spirit. I make newer and better decisions. Every moment is an opportunity to express more and greater. Speaking truth is one of my superpowers. And so it is.
So it is. I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver, of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I'm called to be everything. I'm called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be. You were called to be a mother, to nurture family. You were called to be a brother, be a strength in times of need. You were called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You were called to be a leader, to build community. You were called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You were called to be everything. You were called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be. We are called to be the kindness, set the brokenhearted free. We are called to be forgiveness, when pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We are called to make communion, only then can we succeed. We are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. We are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be free, called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be peace, called to be love, called to be joy, called to be called to be, yeah. Yes, we are. Thank you.
You don't get music like that just anywhere. Let's give another hand to these great musicians.
Dr. Pickett.
Week after week, we come here and hear incredible music. I don't think you hear this in most churches, but I'm glad it's here. Now, there's an affirmation. There's 3 parts that we say every week, so I want you to say it with joy and with feeling with me. Let's go. I am awake. I am awake. I am awake.
Amen.
I am available. I'm available. I am available. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. Please make sure and tell David I remembered to do that. In 1985, I discovered religious science. It was very different from my upbringing, and a lot of the concepts were very hard for me to understand and certainly to embody. But I took my first class, and there was no looking back. I quit graduate school and continued to take classes until I was licensed as a practitioner and minister. And not only that, I read a lot, listened to a lot of different speakers. I just wanted to absorb everything I can. And there's a lot out there. It's really available. So imagine my surprise when lately I was reading the words of a well-known writer that millions of people know and discovered religious science in those words. Imagine that. That writer's not even a minister or practitioner. There they were teaching religious science right there. And let me tell you, there's an article that led me to this, and I want you to hear it in its fullness. It led me to reconsider my impression of the writer, and it certainly brought a few ahas to me, some of them not so pleasant, unexpected surprise. Maybe you've ever had a similar experience, and here it is. July 2nd, 2023. Title, I really don't want to go on vacation with my sister. How do I dodge her requests? Dear Abby, I have an ongoing dilemma with my sister. She often plans vacations for us to take together and springs them on me out of the blue. She then pressures me to say yes and becomes impatient when I tell her I need time to think about it. And the thing is, she's not a very good travel companion. I don't enjoy going on vacation with her. I've taken trips with her before. She's finicky and picky, and she often expects me to pay the expenses. I have limited vacation time, and I'd much rather spend it with my significant other and friends who are better travel buddies. You can see the religious science coming in right now. I can't be honest about this with her because she's extremely sensitive and would take it poorly. On the other hand, I do feel guilty because her attitude repels people and she doesn't have close friends. I want to do the right thing, but I don't want to feel used or guilted. How would you handle this? Signed, Put Upon in Pennsylvania. Now, here is the answer from this master. Dear Put Upon, I would handle this by telling her no and following up with why, that although you love her as a sister, you do not enjoy having plans sprung on you and demanding an instant answer, fronting the money for expenses and spending the time with someone who is finicky and picky. It's the truth, and it may be the wake-up call she needs, because above all, remember, the truth will set you free. Dang, if she hadn't gotten some new thought into her library, I don't know. You know, what a science of mind answer. What a high answer. It's a great answer. And that's what today's talk is about. It's about speaking truth. Now, I'd love to tell you I had this wonderful, compassionate response to reading this. I really would, but I can't. Because what happened was I had no compassion in my heart for either of those sisters. It's telling that my initial response was somewhat like, oh, you ding-dong, but more like, you freaking idiot. Are you stupid? What a pair of sisters. And I know in that moment, I failed how to win friends and influence people big time. Yeah, what a judgmental, critical, and negative message to give someone. But I was so angry, I didn't care. I knew it was wrong. I knew it wasn't in keeping with my beliefs, but it just erupted out of me. And later on, I had to really look at that and ask myself, where did this situation come from? And what are these emotions? Anger is not my usual response. So here is my take on Put Upon. Accept of it what you will. These are my impressions. Number one, Put Upon was raised by really controlling people. I speak from experience. She was taught that her opinions, interests, and right to choose were inconsequential and they were demeaned. Put Upon was taught that she was responsible for other people's feelings. Other people's actions and knowledge were better and they mattered more. So she had to take care of them. To compensate, she learned to appease people, pleasing others by telling half-truths, negating herself, and overall betraying herself. In other words, Put Upon felt resentful and powerless. You know anybody like that? You been that person? You know, she thought somebody else had all the answers. So she wrote to Dear Abby, and I must say I thought it was an inspired action because, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and this was that opportunity. Now, what's my take on my reaction? This was too close to home. Similar to my history, this brought up old feelings, long held, deeply ingrained, anger and resentment. My reaction was certainly not a response. It just came out. And it was an opportunity also to release the past and the ties that bound me. It was an opportunity to live in the present moment and not suddenly be back in something that happened perhaps years ago. And I know that with this mindset, it was easy for me and for others to dump on somebody else, that especially if we consider them of lesser stature, than to go in and heal our own wounds. And I also know that if you have the desire for authentic empowerment, when strong enough, can lead to great insights and the knowledge and the ability to use the infinite power that is available to us. And last thing is, I learned I got some more work to do. I did. And you may be thinking, oh gosh darn, I'm not calling her for support. Really? Would you want me to share some of that with you? Well, luckily, you actually can call me because I have learned from my experience, and I have a lot greater understanding than I used to. I think that was a flashback of some type. Because, it's not what happens to us, it's what we do with what happens, what we make of our life. When some of our stuff comes up, it comes up as an opportunity for it to be released. And when I say stuff, whatever it is, if it's money, relationships, career, whatever aspect of your life, it comes up when we're ready to deal with it. And in my case, I had a very quick reaction and an opportunity to know I had more work to do. I needed to release a bit more. My anger was my reaction, and my response was writing this talk. Actually, you can see, I do have experience, and it has softened me. And I look at this story and myself as involved in it. All three of us were feeling rather powerless. What happened with the two sisters, I don't exactly know, but what happened with me is another story. Having been at different times, both of those sisters, really I was, my life began to shift when I heard the words of Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of religious science, or what we also call science of mind. Here's some of the things he said. He said many things, but these are really powerful for me. There is a power in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. He's talking about something we may call God or spirit or divine mind or whatever name. He also said, I was a physics teacher, and this just really spoke to me. There's a life is a mirror that will reflect back to the thinker what he or she thinks into it. That's a little bit of quantum physics. And he said, change your life, change your thinking. Oh, I don't know about that one. But he said, where the mind goes, the energy flows, and it creates. And this last one, it gave me a real opportunity for growth. A dang OFG, which I don't usually refer to as dang. In other words, I had an opportunity to change some things, have a bigger experience. But what Holmes was writing about was that this spirit, that which you may have called God or whatever name, because actually that spirit and intelligence could care less, it's a field of intelligence that responds to the energy of our emotions and our thoughts and our beliefs. In other words, it's an energetic field of intelligence. Everything came from it. Everything that was, is, and will be originates from that intelligence. And it creates without evaluation or judgment. That's important. This intelligence or spirit, divine mind, whatever, creates experiences corresponding with the energy it receives. Emphasis on without evaluation or judgment. Hitler used this just as surely as Mother Teresa did. It's true. When I read these concepts, I had a challenge to accept them. They weren't Southern Baptist. Embody them, I don't even know if I think they're correct. But what this actually means that I just read to you, is you and I determine the frequency that we put out and what we get back. And we don't control the power, we're co-creating, we're directing that power. I'm not doing it, that infinite mind is doing it. It knows how a lot better than me and does it in a much better way. So what shows up in this physical world is created in the non-physical. And it directly is in line with our thoughts and feelings, our actions, even if it might not seem like it. It may seem totally opposite, but when we look at it from a distance, getting that objective viewpoint, we find that it certainly corresponds. And this is true whether those feelings and thoughts and beliefs are held consciously or subconsciously. If it's in the subconscious, it is still operating all the time, whether we're thinking about it or not. Yeah, it's like a radio. And I've used this example before, so if you heard it, bear with me. It's like a radio. And when you want to hear something on the radio, you tune it to a certain frequency, and that frequency determines what's coming out of the radio. And let's say you just love jazz and you hate talk radio, whatever you like and dislike. That's just an example. You turn it on one day, and instead of your usual jazz, there is talk radio. Do you pick up the radio and shake it and go, bad radio, stupid radio? If you only were digital, if you were only analog, whatever, how you demean it. Please don't tell me if you do. But the fact is, you can look at it and say, you must be a Democratic radio or a Republican radio or a Southern Baptist or a Catholic or a whatever radio. You must be an illegal immigrant radio. Whatever you say, you're demeaning what's coming to you. And when we do this in real life, we're demeaning ourselves because we're putting it out there and it's just mirrored right back to us. Now, I know that many of us are meaner to ourselves than we would ever be to another, but really, energy flows where the mind is going. Don't let that energy come back to you. It's all energy. This is an energetic universe. We simply change the frequency and get a different sound, a different experience. Now, if you want to see what you believe, I know what I believe. I bet we don't know all that we believe. I don't sometimes. What we have to do is just look around at what's going on in our life. Let's say you are thinking about there's never enough money. You want to see if you really believe that? Look at your bank account and look at what your obligations are. Is it mirroring there's never enough money? That would be just in line with what I've been speaking about. If we criticize ourselves and blame others, it just comes back to us. It really doesn't hurt the other people. We just change the channel, don't we? If something comes out you don't like on TV, do you sit there and curse that it's on there? Sometimes, maybe. But what do if you're really halfway alert and alive? You get up and change the channel, unless you just want to have a negative experience. But those people who are thinking of themselves, just get up and change the channel. And we can do that. We can do that. We can simply change our thinking, and we will emit different energy because we are emitting energy all the time. And while this sounds simple, sometimes it does not feel very easy at all. And it depends on how firmly entrenched we are in what we say we believe or what we believe that we don't even realize. Go to change and discover how challenging it can be. Maybe it's easy. Maybe you don't have a lot of stuff around it, but it can really offer an opportunity for growth. The dreaded OFG. Things will change. They always do change. Different thoughts put into that divine mind, that energetic field, are going to create. They always do. And so we have to change our thoughts and keep them changed. And that's prayer defined a little bit differently. Because, a lot of people, they change their mind, and within a millisecond, they change it right back. You ever done that? I am prosperous and healthy. Well, what about my bank account? What about that visit to the doctors? What about? You got to change your mind and keep changing it. And you have to do it over and over if necessary until you absorb a greater idea. So when we have a thought and it manifests for us as we want it to, we get two things. First of all, we get what we were focused on. And second of all, we get faith in the power of our mind. Yeah. You know, the results from working with this and working on what we might call manifesting by changing our minds can be applied to anything. Oh, Susan, anything? Oh, yes. You know, did you ever use science of mind to create something? And it was wonderful, but you found out you really didn't believe it would work in this other area of your life? Raise your hands now, come on. Really, I found that on multiple occasions. You know, I psychologically believed in the back of my head, under some deep level, it's never going to work on that. And you know what happens? It gets created accordingly. It works by not working. Instead of beating myself up for that, I found to use it as information is a good thing. Oh, that's information. Oh, I can, now that I realize that, I can do something about it. You know, it's an opportunity to change them. But some things are just so pervasive, it's like that proverbial fish in the ocean who says, what water? They're so in it, they have no idea that's what it is. You know, patterns of thought can be that pervasive. I must admit, I rarely told my mother the truth about certain things. She was always right anyway, and she wasn't going to listen to anything that was different from her belief system. And I worked around different topics to keep the peace. And having done that for so long, it became a what water situation. It's just automatic to, because I defaulted to my regular patterns, and that was a regular pattern for her. And one day I had a frustrating conversation when a friend was over, and when I got off the phone, my mother was really pressuring me about coming home to Baton Rouge. My friend said, well, why don't you just tell her the truth? Why don't you say you don't come because the way she criticizes you and, you know, the way she behaves. I was so shocked to hear that. Such a simple thing to say, yet it had never entered my mind the possibility of my mother being able to hear that. She was actually a very loving person in many ways, but she also was not a well person psychologically at this point in her life. You know, I was just astounded to be told that. You know, it literally had never occurred to me to say something like that to my mother, because my father would go, now, Susan, don't you speak that way to your mother, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure you have your version of it. You know, I didn't think it'd get me anywhere, so I didn't do it. But when we change our minds, things must change. They must. Doing things a healthier way may not be appreciated by others, and we may get pressure and criticism to go back to the old familiar patterns. Indeed. We're not here to change others. We're here to change ourselves. You just have to keep at it. So remember these three things. Number one, change your mind and keep it changed. Keep your thoughts lifted. In other words, focus on your goal. I took a little index card at times, and I'd fold either hamburger, which is in half, or hot dog long ways. That's teacher talk. And I would write something on it, so it was the last thing I would see on my bedside table as I turned out the light, and the first thing when I turned over in the morning to get up. It helped. You know, this may sound like some self-help text, doesn't it? But actually, this is the ultimate self-help, because it is from the ultimate power of the universe that created everything and creates anew every single moment. When we say what we focus on grows, let me rephrase it for you in a different way. The frequency emitted by our consistent thought patterns and beliefs goes into the ethers of the mind of God or Spirit and returns to us as the events of our life. Is focus on your goal easier? Maybe, but that's what happens. You know, please note the wording. It is consistently put in. It is consistently affirmed and accepted. No matter how many times it takes to do it, you do it till you see it working. Unless your intuition says, wait, we need to adjust this a little. You may find that the interest shifts in what you're affirming, but that's guidance from within. You know, random thoughts are not very strong. They come in, they kind of flit through. You don't have to go, oh no, I'm thinking a negative thought. Oh no, I'm thinking about thinking. You ever hear somebody do that? I'm thinking about thinking. Oh God, I'm still thinking negatively. Let it go. It's consistence is the constancy. Is that a word? Okay, it is consistently being reinforced by us, and that's powerful. And if you add emotion to that, especially strong emotion, it's like putting gasoline on a barbecue fire. Boom. You will really get results. And that happens whether you're doing it negatively or you're doing it positively. Isn't that fun to know? Just like I was sitting there going, you dumb to that story. I was putting a lot of energy into that. And let me tell you, it's powerful. Luckily, I realized what I was doing. I stopped it right then. You know, I'll tell you something. I've studied metaphysics, science of mind for years. And everything I'm sharing with you is coming from my experience. I'm not going to read you what somebody else said or tell you what, Deepak Chopra said or whatever. I'm telling you it's my personal experience, because if you don't personally experience it, science of mind is just another interesting philosophy to talk about, to play with. You know, I quoted Ernest Holmes, and by quoting him, I am affirming the truth of his beliefs. I learned by using this teaching and getting results. And that's important. If you're not getting results, it's time to take a step back and look at what's going on. It might be time to talk to one of our prayer practitioners or ministers. We're here for you. So think of your everyday life. What is the foundational belief of your life? Really, what is it? Well, we may have a stated belief, and then we have what we really believe. I believe that the world is a positive place. Damn those fill in the blanks. You know, what is our real belief? You know, because from our real beliefs, we're speaking our truth. Are we speaking it from a place of power and knowledge? Is it easy to speak it, and when is it not easy? It calls us to get clear. I'll tell you, for me to be able to speak truth, I have to be centered in knowing that I'm powerful, that what I think and feel counts, that what I say and do matters, even if nobody else hears it, sees it, or experiences it. You know, to speak truth comes from the conviction of my divine nature. And that's truth. You may see me sometimes think, well, that's her divine nature. But really, it does. Now, speaking truth is not ego-based. It is not used to hurt others or control others, and it comes from the heart and gets directed by the mind. I'll repeat that. Speaking truth is not ego-based. It's not used to hurt others. It's not used to control others. And it's used in a way that is uplifting and helpful. It comes from the heart and it's directed by the mind. Now, some people take that to mean a lot of different things. Let me be real clear. Speaking truth is not saying anything that comes into your thoughts. I have sometimes done that. But it's not to be thoughtlessly used. It does not mean we have to share intimate details of our lives. You know, it requires going within and listening. It requires us to process what we get in the quiet. And at times, Speaking truth can be saying nothing. You know, telling truth requires discernment. We can learn a lot of things or hear a lot of things that have no basis in truth, especially since we got the World Wide Web. Coming from ego, that reactive part of us, is not really helpful. Some people think everything they read on the internet is true. I have family members who didn't vaccinate because, the government might try to control you. It doesn't work. It can cause you all these things. Didn't argue, no need to. I'm not here to change them. But to respond means you have a choice of words and action. And that is really important. You have a choice of how to be, a choice of how to respond. You may have to take a moment or two. Sometimes you might even have to say, I'm not sure about that. Let me get back to you. Let's talk about that a little later again. It's good to know the difference in reaction and response, and it's especially good to remember that when you are in the middle of something that's got your goat. You ever been there? You ever one of those people said, oh, if I'd only said, you think of it 30 minutes later or at 2 o'clock in the morning. But it is good to just let yourself reflect a little or a lot. Now, speaking truth is knowing when, where, and what to say. And that comes, again, from going inward, being quiet, release that monkey mind that's playing all around on different ideas, and processing what is revealed. Sometimes what needs to be said can bring hurt and pain, as being truthful can be challenging. So, hearing the truth is not always well received. There are those who would much do business as usual and not have to change anything. Telling the truth may not get you a date on Saturday night, but, it's not going to make you popular. But you've heard the phrase, and I say it again, do it anyway. Do it anyway. I find it imperative that I speak when I will be heard. Not just when I want to say it, but when I will be heard. And using language that can be heard. I do not deviate from my message, but I thoughtfully choose what to do based on my true guidance. Not my ego self, not those thoughts that run around, but the truth of myself. There are a lot of things I'd like to say that I'm just very thankful that those word bubbles don't appear above my head. But above all else, I think this is the most important. We must tell ourselves the truth. It's not that we lie to ourselves, but sometimes we just don't want to deal with something. We don't want to realize a message. We fight against it. Sometimes we're just not ready to hear it. In such a time, this is what I do. You say, what do you do when that happens? I affirm clarity. I affirm right knowing and right action. You may use it in different words, but what I'm saying is I understand, I take the right actions, and I know what to say and do. So many people are faced with difficult, sometimes dangerous decisions. In those cases, it can be really challenging to remember that we have a choice, that we are creating. We have to deal with what's going on, but proceeding in faith is powerful. It is very powerful, especially when the way is unclear, and that's faith. Sometimes what we have faith in, we don't quite know, but we just know something, and the urge makes itself known. There was a singer, Anna Bullock, who married an abusive, cruel, drug-addicted man. He once beat her all the way from the airport to a hotel. I mean, the entire way. He beat her backstage before she was seconds before she was about to go on. that on July 1st, 1976, Anna ran away with 36 cents in her pocket and a mobile gas credit card. She allowed herself to know the truth, and she took action. This is what she said in her Hail Mary moment. Life is not worth living if I'm going to stay in this situation. Life is not worth living if I'm going to stay in this situation, which is I deserve more, I'm worth it, and I'm going to experience. She ran away when her husband was asleep. Indeed, I believe that was the divine urge that led who we know as Tina Turner to escape Ike Turner. It led her to study Buddhism, and it led her to have the courage to escape. She allowed herself the freedom to know the truth and then take action from it. She was scared when she ran. She ran across a huge highway. I think it was an interstate. She didn't know what she was doing, but she got to a hotel and she went from there. Now you may say, oh, Susan, that's Tina Turner. Come on. Oh, yeah, that was Annie Mae Bullock. She wasn't Tina Turner out there that moment. She wasn't Tina Turner when Ike was beating her black and blue. When she left him, he made sure, and she knew it, that she would have no job prospects, no idea how she was going to make it, and that people would not work with her in the music industry. But clear seeing propelled her. Yeah. She once told Harvard Business Review this: I came to understand that any achievement stems from inner change, and the more I studied Buddhism and its principles, the deeper I dug within myself and cleaned up whatever attitudes and habits were standing in my way. If that's not religious science, if that's not one of the great spiritual truths that is common to all the world's religions, then there just aren't any. You know, it makes no difference to spirit if I'm Tina Turner, if I'm Joe Blow, if I'm a homeless person. Everything is equally available to people. There's no past in the mind of God. There's just right now. And we all have equal access to that power, even if we don't know it. We're all using it all the time anyway, but we can use it in a much more useful fashion and a much more results-proving fashion. And the power to speak truth is available to everyone. The power to forgive and release is available to all. You and I are the children of the Most High, and let's act like it. We are children of God, and we would not treat a divine being the way we often treat ourselves, and we certainly wouldn't accept some of the treatment, and most of all from ourselves. Now, truth can come from expected and unexpected sources, and at the most unexpected times. It's universal and it's available to all. You look around, it's everywhere. It's in print, it's on video or film, it's in the churches, it's in the synagogues, it's in every kind of place. It's in yoga studios, you know. You can find it online, and you can even find it in Dear Abby, who, by the way, has a readership of about 1.4 million. And without using religious terms, Abby, or her real name, Jean Phillips, told Put Upon she has the power to speak her truth and the right to do so. There is no need to consider staying in an unhealthy pattern. Tell the truth, she wrote, because the truth can set you free. And now that's telling the truth. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to take a moment, a couple of minutes, and show you something. I keep talking about going within. You may be saying, well, how do I do that? Everybody talks about it. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to give you what I use. So what I'd like you to do is, if you need to move a minute, move and get comfortable in your seats. and close your eyes. And I want you to just begin to notice your breath. In the inhale, the pause, the exhale, the pause. Just take about 10 slow, deep breaths. While continuing that deep, slow breathing, draw attention to the center of your chest at what we call the breastbone or sternum. And just imagine that as you breathe, the air and the energy within it comes into your heart chakra, as it's called in certain traditions. Just breathe right into that heart chakra and then breathe out. And let's count down from 50 breaths. From 50 and do these breaths. And I want you to focus and pretend it's coming straight into your heart, into your chest. So let's do this. Inhale is 50. Exhale is 49. Inhale is 48. Exhale is 47. Just continue. Just keep breathing. And while you're focusing on that breath, ask yourself this question and let it go and just focus on the breath. You don't have to keep thinking the question. What do I need to know right now? What do I need to know right now? Focus on the breath, focus on going into the heart. And when you're ready, take a moment and see if you got any impression, a thought, a color, a feeling. If you got one, that's fine. If you didn't, it will come when the time is right. The answers are there. They're available to us. So if you'll open your eyes gently. That was an ancient Buddhist breath counting meditation. There are people that their entire meditation practice is of counting from 100 down 3 or 4 times. That's their entire practice. Thank you for being with me today. I encourage you to take this message to heart. If you need to, contact one of our ministers or practitioners. Let us support you and help you get a greater idea. I'm so glad you're with us today. It's time for the offering. We don't want to skip that part. Churches are still a business. We have to pay the rent, the lights, our employees. And I think it's spiritually correct to give back to where you're fed. So remember that there are many ways you can give to us. And you can text any amount to the number on the screen, 404-800-9467. You can give online at SLCA/donations, or we have a digital program, slca.updates.church. And you see this, it's right over here, this plexiglass box. If you would like to put a check or cash in there, we gladly accept it because we think we have something wonderful here. We want to expand it, and it does take the energy of money. Thank you.
Companions. I'm Mally Lapeet. My pronouns are she and her, and I gladly serve on the creative arts team here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. If this is your first time you want to know about it, would you stand or raise your hand and let us know? We have a special gift for you. One of our members will come over. He's going to give you a card to fill out, and if you would return it in the lobby to one of our greeters, we can get to know you more. And welcome, you belong. For those of you that want to know more about our center or how to become a member, please connect with a member of our welcome team after the service in the lobby or online. We have so many great opportunities here to connect, grow, serve, and give, right? Yes. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, scan the QR code found on your monitor. So many things have been happening in our world that sometimes leaves us with more questions than answers, right? I want answers. Join us today from 5 to 6 p.m. for answers. Well, join us in room 217 as we continue the Self-Care for Peace and Justice workshop with Reverend Dr. David Alexander and licensed professional counselor and SLCA practitioner Tony Jenkins. Please join SLCA practitioner Baji Daniels just outside in the Memorial Garden from 5 to 6 p.m. today for Tai Chi Qigong. Wear comfortable clothes and shoes or bring something to change into after service. This opportunity is for everyone, even if this is your first time. It's also a wonderful way to increase blood circulation and reduce stress. Who doesn't want that? Please plan now to join Reverend Dr. David Alexander next Sunday, July 16th, during our 5 o'clock hour and explore ways to put our vision of a world that works for everyone to action. Have you checked out newthoughtheducation.com lately? There are some wonderful on-demand classes waiting for you. There's also a wonderful way to share our teaching with a friend. You can forward them that address. The hospitality team is excited to announce that beginning August 6th, that's the first Sunday of August, we'll begin having a potluck Sunday at SLCA. We are looking forward to having the opportunity to try different foods from our community. For ideas of what to bring or for any questions, please see our hospitality lead, Sue Mormon, or a member of our team after service. We need your help. There are so many ways to serve at SLCA, so if you're interested in serving on our welcome and hospitality team or any other team, we would love to have you help. Please see a member of our welcome team in the lobby to find out more after service. Will all practitioners that are available for prayer and this afternoon, please make yourself known in person and in the online chat now. Hi. Thank you. We will welcome each of you in need of prayer to remain in the room or reach out to a practitioner online for one-on-one prayer with a licensed practitioner. In-person practitioners will be sitting in the back of the sanctuary following service today. Well, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting with you after service down in the social hall for some food and conversation. You belong.
Let's close out by singing together our closing song. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all. of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Let's take it up. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Aaron Krasicki, Jackie Pickett.